Okay, hello everybody. This is Alan, and today's Tech Talk is going to be about advanced hooping techniques. We're going to be showing you a couple components that actually will help your hooping nightmares become a little bit less of a nightmare. So I'm also here with Brandon, who's actually going to demonstrate some of these advanced hooping techniques on the all-in-one hooper, as well as the Durkee cat frame system, which is going to be exciting for you to learn. First thing I want to do is I want to point you in the direction on your screen. You should see our Coleman & Company website. And the Coleman & Company website will have all the information for the all-in-one hooper. There's a video there that shows you how to do it. Now, hold on. Let me just see. Got a question? Make sure I'm at the right place on my laptop. Anyone there? Juanita, can you hear me at all? Matter of fact, if everybody could show me by raising your hand whether you can hear me or not. All right, Juanita, I could see. Okay, can you see my screen, Juanita? Okay, Jim, I can see you. All right, Kristen, I can see your hand. Michael Fox, good to see you. And let's see. Okay, so so everybody's on board now. Okay, good. All right, so on your screen, you should be able to see we have let me just move this out of the way, and we'll shrink this. The all-in-one hooper is actually shown here right on Coleman & Company's website. It talks about how to use it, what it's made for. Also shows you some techniques on how to do different 3 all-in-one functions. Unboxing, first look at it, shows you how to set it up and everything there. We're also going to talk about also on our learning website on Coleman & Company. It shows you how to do the many other different things that Coleman & Company offers. Okay, so I definitely want you to see that. And in the Coleman & Company, we also have other types of hoops that we're going to talk about. The Durkee hoops. Okay, what do they do? How to use them? Okay, they're basically they're custom hoops to allow you to help you to hoop the things that the normal hoops that you get with your embroidery machine do not help you with, okay? And then, of course, over here, the Durkee cap frames. There's a video in here on what it does, how to use it, and how to sew with it. So, without any further ado, what we're going to do is I'm going to open up this, make sure there's no more questions. By the way, this is your time. This webinar this Tech Talk series is actually for you. If you have any questions, feel free to just open up your chat box and type them in there. We'll be happy to talk about them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Brandon, who's going to demonstrate how to use the all-in-one hooper.
Okay, how's everyone doing today? Again, my name is Brandon. I work at Coleman & Company. Some of you have probably called in and talked to me at one point or another. I'm going to show you a little demo on our all-in-one hooper. This device allows you to hoop your garments, hats, basically anything in the same spot every time. I know a lot of you, probably have had some trouble in the past, especially if you're a new embroiderer. You're got a bundle of T-shirts to do or polo shirts, and your designs are a little bit off. Not everyone's exactly the same, but this one allows you to get the your designs in the same spot every time, no questions asked. And you see a bunch of stickers on here. The hooper comes with all these labels here. I want to show you. All right. So we have here we have women's and we have men's. And again over here, so if you were doing like a left chest logo, you have women's and men's and all the different sizes, small, medium, large and extra large, and then 2X and above. And then over here again we have for the right chest, same labels. This device will extend if you're doing the 2X and above shirts, and it also collapses for youth and child sizes. So today we're going to do a left chest logo on a men's large T-shirt. And what we're going to do is we have this piece here. All right. And if you can see here, we're going to be using a 15 centimeter hoop, and you have to line up the crosshairs. It says 15 centimeters here. and you're going to line up the little crosshair here with the size of the shirt that you're going to be using. So we have a men's large t-shirt, so we find men's, and then large is this green one right here, and we're going to line up the crosshair on men's large. I don't know if you can see that. And then it comes with all these pins and pieces here. There we go. Men's large. All right. Stick the pin in the hole up here. Oh, there we go. And this is locked in place. So we have our 15 centimeter hoop here. Place that there. And there's little clips up here up top for your backing. Go. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your t-shirt and you're going to thread it over the top of the hooper. And you're going to want to get the seam, the top seam of the t-shirt, right over at the top of the hooper. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, but the hooper will adjust to any size hoop and any shape hoop. All right, so we got the top seam on top of the hooper. Do we have any questions so far, Alan?
Just somebody. Nancy, can you see the on-screen demo now? Okay, you don't see the on-screen right now? Okay. Let me see. Let me just restart it again. There we go. Let me know if you could see it now. All right, restart your webinar. It just sounds like, and also too, make sure you're using Google Chrome. If you use a Mozilla Firefox, it may be causing a problem with the video. Okay, if okay, try to do that. Kristen, okay, now you see. Okay, great. Okay, Kristen Nickel has a question. Can you show me how to hoop a youth small polo?
Not sure if I have a youth small polo here, but I can kind of show you how to collapse the hooper in order to do that. All right. I'm kind of glad we had a pause here because I want to show you one thing before we thread the shirt. These little bars right here are going to provide us with a little bit of leverage when we actually hoop the shirt. So again, we've threaded it on top. The top seam is on top of the hooper. And now I'm going to go ahead and there we go. And what you're going to do, carefully remove it. It'll come right out of the clips. There we go. And then this is ready to go right into the machine.
Now, one of the advantages of this all-in-one hooper is that every shirt that you hoop up on this will have the same placement on the embroidery design. There's no guesswork to it at all. Nothing's worse than having 48 pieces of shirts and your left chest alignment is off from shirt to shirt. So this ensures that you will have no human error interjected into your embroidery technique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can have a first-day employee working with this machine. It's that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to collapse it for youth and child sizes. Basically, there's these little pins back here that you have to release. Make sure you hold it because it will fall on you. There we go. And that collapses there for your youth sizes. Mm-hmm. And then you can collapse it again. Oh, there's a couple more pins over here. Go. collapses one more time.
So that would be for toddlers?
This would be for toddlers.
Or even pant legs or...
Yeah, well, actually, we have a sleeve board to do sleeves and also baby onesies, which I'm going to show you next. So we'll bring this back up. Lock it in place. Right. Okay. So we're probably going to have to back this camera up just a little bit.
Does everybody see the video? For some reason, our video keeps going out. Cindy, can you see the screen, or are you still missing the screen? I can see you. I can see it. Okay, I can see. Okay, great. All right. Okay,
Beautiful. Okay. So you'll have this attachment right here, and that's going to go right here in this pinhole. It says it's a sticker right here. It says insert pin. And that's to hold up your sleeve board. Also doubles as a baby onesie board. We're going to hoop the back side of a cap with this as well. So this is another attachment. Just like, you know, for this piece that we used earlier for the shirt, this is going to provide your leverage when you're hooping the onesie or the sleeve hat. And it goes right here on these two pins. What I like to do is, we're going to take this hoop apart first. Kind of line it up. See, somebody was using a smaller hoop the last time this was used. So you're going to have to get it lined up. There we go. Tighten these wing nuts into place. There we go. I like to test it and see if I've got enough room. There we go.
So these arms here, they actually just stabilize the hoop.
Exactly.
So there's no way you could hoop up sideways.
Exactly. All right. So we have our baby onesie here. All right, that's the bottom. Here's the front. There we go. And you're just going to thread this right on to the sleeve board. And, you know, generally 3 fingers from the top, you know, however far up you want your design to be. And then with this, you're going to float your backing into the machine. And then this is ready to go into your machine right now.
Yep. So basically what I would do, what he means by floating your backing, right now there is no backing on the back of this shirt, and you definitely need stability. So after you put your hoop onto the machine just like that, making sure that it's totally sleeved, you would take your backing and slide it right on top of the needle plate, so it's between the shirt and the needle plate. So this is fighting me a little bit. So let me go in here a little bit better. There we go. There we go. Slide it right.
Or you would use a smaller piece of backing.
Or a smaller piece of backing. Just make it harder for me. All right, and then there. And this will lay on top. I like a little bit larger of a piece of backing because when the material does move across in sewing, I don't want that backing to move on me. So I want all my embroidery to capture part of that backing or all of that backing. Okay, excellent.
All right. Now I'm going to show you how to hoop like the side of a t-shirt sleeve or a polo sleeve if you wanted to do, you know, like right here. If you wanted to embroider like a logo or a name, you know, I've seen people put like you know, their golf tournament name on the side of a golf t-shirt or golf polo.
We have a question from Juanita. Juanita asks, are you still using the rubber band method to make sure you find the center? The rubber band technique was actually stretching a rubber band from corner to corner around a round hoop. And wherever the 2 rubber bands meet in the center, the intersection, that's your center of the hoop. You don't really have to do this because when you set your hoop, into the material here, or whether it's on the left chest apparatus, it's automatically going to be it's automatically going to find the center. There's no way of injecting human error because you do have these pegs here, which disallow the sideways motion of the hoop when hooping. So your center. Now, I think the question you may be asking is, how do I find the center on the embroidery machine? Well, that you would actually just you would actually find your center by using the rubber band. But as far as like making sure the placement on the shirt during hooping is correct, there is no rubber band technique for that.
All right. So with your sleeve board here, I don't know if you can see because of the light, but there are a few lines here. There's some black straight lines and then some red curved lines right here. I think you can see the red lines. But those are for lining up the edge of your sleeve, and then the red curved lines are going to be for when we line up the back side of the cap. So, get our hoop ready here. And then we're just going to thread the sleeve up to the line, line it up there, using the pegs for leverage. And now this is ready to go into the machine.
So now you can accurately place your embroidery every time, no matter how many shirts you're doing, right wherever you need it, based upon where those lines are.
All right. So now, if you have like a snapback cap, these are really popular. I like wearing snapbacks. So if you have a snapback style cap and you want to embroider the edge back here.
It's called back talk.
That's right. So we have a couple of red curved lines on the sleeve board here. And you're just going to do the exact same thing that you did with the sleeve. You're going to thread the hat on, line it up with the red line there, bring your hoop in, use the pegs, there we go. Now that's ready to go in your machine. You can do, depending on how you digitize it, you can
put all your back talk right on there.
Exactly.
Now I got a question here. Do magnetic hoops actually work on the all-in-one hooper?
Yes, you can use any style hoop, any shape, any size.
If I were to do a full chest logo, I mean, how would the all-in-one hooper actually work?
Full chest. There are attachments. There's actually attachments, and honestly, I've never done a full chest with the hooper. I've never gone that far deep into it. But basically, there's attachments, and there's also a CD with instructions on how to do, larger designs.
So there's an attachment that goes on here,
exactly,
which holds your hoop just like the left chest hoop attachment does.
Exactly.
And then you place it basically where you want it to lay out. And then you put your hoop on there, and then you sleeve your shirt over top of it, and then you hoop it just like normal there. But and again, you do have these extension arms, which actually allow you to do multiple sizes, oversized shirts. If you're into the plus size community and you're selling to them, you can actually do all that. Both sides of those do advance out.
Awesome.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions on the hooper?
So any questions on the all-in-one hooper? A lot of your problems that you'll experience from in a hooping genre on embroidery can be solved by the all-in-one hooper. That it's the only one of its kind. There's a lot of hooping apparatus out there, but you have to buy several of these attachments to do with 9mm, a 12mm, a 15 and an 18 centimeter, even 21. You would need to buy different attachments on here like Hoopmaster, where All-in-One Hooper does every single hoop that you have, okay, as well as other things like sleeves and pant legs, the different sizes of shirts, whether you're doing adult, oversized, to youth, to toddler, and even to onesies. You have all that available on the All-in-One Hooper. So if anybody have any questions about the All-in-One Hooper at all? All right, what we're going to show you now is a new way of hooping unstructured cat, and it's pretty exciting. It's actually pretty amazing what it can do, and I'll let Brandon take it over from there too.
All right. So this is a new product that we're carrying at Coleman & Company. It's the cap frame, Durkee cap frame. It's for doing unstructured caps only. And what's great about this is here's a finished product of a cap sewn out with the Durkee cap frame. The height of your design is much larger than what you would be able to do with like your traditional cap frame that would come with your Avance. I believe what's the area for those for the traditional cap frame?
Yeah, the most popular hat sold on the market today in ball caps is called the low mid profile. This is an auto hat, and it does have a low to mid profile. And everybody knows that when you're determining the height of your embroidery on any given cap, the first thing you have to do is you have to come up about a ½ inch off the bill because that's where the seam is, and you don't want needle deflection there. The other thing you do is you fold down the top of it, just like this where it curves over, and then you make your measurement. Now, on most mid to low profiles, I only have about the maximum height of any embroidery design will be 2½ inches. So when you have a design like this, where it's important that you go over the body of the cap, you would need an apparatus just like this.
All right. So with the Durkee cap frame, I'm going to show you how we hoop. These are for, like I said, unstructured caps only. All right, kind of or a floppy cap. I've heard them called floppy caps before. What you're going to do is we're going to use a piece of sticky backing or peel and stick, and you're just going to peel it off. We're going to flip the frame over. See, we've used it quite a few times already here. We love getting new toys. All right, now just stick that down there, get that later. And you're just going to stick this right onto the hoop. Get it nice and flat. I like to trim off the edges here. Go. All right, and then we're going to flip the frame over. And there's two wing nuts here. And this piece right here is what's going to hold the your cap in place. It's going to hold the bill down. We're going to loosen these. You don't have to take the wing nuts off. You're just going to loosen them enough to be able to open this piece. This piece is going to raise up off of the frame. All right, just give it enough room so we can slip the bill in there. And you're going to take the sweatband and you're going to kind of flip that over. We're going to lift this piece up here, and we're going to feed the bill in, get it nice and centered, and then we're going to tighten these wing nuts, just hand tight. It doesn't need to be ridiculously tight. What we're going to do here is we're going to smooth it out, get it nice and flat. Make sure that the back of the cap or the underside of the cap is sticking to your sticky backing. There we go. And now it's ready to go straight in the machine.
So it goes right on the machine just like a normal hoop would. And now you have all the way up almost to the very top middle of that hat to sew on. Now, of course, you can't use structure caps. Now, structured caps are caps like this that have a buckram behind it. This buckram makes it impossible to actually do this type of embroidery. If your technique is to get that on something like this, you would need to exercise what's called indirect embroidery, where it would simply, I would hoop up this same material in twill, sew out my design, and then there's a thermal backing that you put on it to make it almost like a patch, and you lay it out and you heat press it on there. That's how they get the oak leaves on hats as well. Mm-hmm. So, but if you're doing non-structured caps, which happens to be all the rage today, you can see they have no buckram behind it. This is the way you would do it on here. Okay.
Yep. So the all-in-one hooper and the new Durkee cap frame, they're available on ColemanandCompany.com. Our number's on the website. If you have any questions or you want to talk to one of us about it, give us a call.
Okay. Any questions on any of the products that you've seen so far? All right. I'm going to set this up. Sorry for the mess. Okay, there we go. Okay, I do want to take your attention from the webcam. Thanks, Brandon. That was excellent information. Back to our website. All the stuff that you have seen today in this webinar can be shown if you go to ColemanandCompany.com, and from the main home page, go to embroidery supplies. Click. You have all-in-one hooper right here. You also have Durkee hoops, which we're going to talk about in just a second here. Okay, and then over here you have the Durkee cap frames, which is what Brandon just showed you now, and all those are available immediately. Another advanced technique that you can use when hooping is called the fast frames. Now, the fast frame system is actually a 7-in-1 system that allows you to use a home device to set a myriad of different types of hoops. And we don't have one here. We used to have one here, but I think we sold it. But
actually, I think Coleman and Company, we've been talking about getting fast frames in.
Coleman and Company will
stay tuned.
Yeah, Coleman and Company will be supplying you with it. But let me go ahead and go to the website just to show you, because this is all about how to actually hoop up especially garments. This here is the fast frame system. Normally you'll get the 7-in-1 feature of the fast frame. And what it includes is this home device, which actually goes onto your machine just like a regular hoop, and then all these attachments for different size bags. If you're in the bag industry, or if you're doing pencil cases, or if you're sewing on neoprene bags for computer laptops or even the iPads, you can actually use this device. It does use a sticky adhesive backing, just like he showed you on the Durkee cap frame, and they make several different size attachments to this. Okay, so you could do name tags, geese, ties. You could do belts, not leather belts unless you're using the right needle, but you could do dog collar belts and all that stuff. This is a great tool to use for doing those specialty type hooping. Let's see, we got a question here. Do you still have sticky backing? Yes. Coleman and Company does sell all the backing that you'll ever need. They have everything from 2.7 all the way up to 3.2 ounce cutaway backing, or 3.1 ounce cutaway backing.
2.5 to 3.5,
yeah.
And then we have ultra thick.
And then you have ultra thick backing. They also have the thermal backing. They have the fusible mesh backing, which is you would want to use for when you're doing onesies to make those lock stitches behind the embroidery less irritating to a child. They have all those accessories for you for your embroidery. If you're in the printing industry or rhinestone or spangle, they also sell all the accessories for those type machines as well. Okay. All right. Now, if anybody has any questions, we're going to talk about hooping a hat. One of the most common calls we get here in tech support is actually, how do I hoop an embroidery hat? Just a simple embroidery hat. So I'm going to go ahead and go back over to the webcam here. All right, so we're going to go over to the embroidery machine. Do you sell this thing? Okay, so let's go here. And let me just set up the video camera so you can get a better look at your cat driver. And I'm just going to record this over this way. There we go. Okay. Every Bonsai machine, whether it's a single head or a multi-head, will come with a cap driver. Now, the cap driver is just the base, the structure I use in order to hoop up a hat onto your cap hoop. Okay. Now, every cap hoop will have these clips on them, which you want to remove, and these are just used for stabilizing the sides of the hoop. Now, the cap hoop is actually cylindrical and allows me to sew a hat at 270 degrees. It allows me, the old days we could only sew on the front of the ball cap right here, and that gave me limited amount of logo placement on any hats. But with the new cylindrical style cap hoops, what we have, we could sew anything from this end of the seam all the way around to this side. It gives me 13 inches of embroidery area, 270 degrees around that. So you could place a main logo here. You could actually set on the side over here like another message here, or a promoter, or you see the golf pros actually have Titleist here, or a myriad of other ones, and you can also do another logo over here. With the Durkee cap frame, you can actually sew the back, so it gives you 360 embroidery capabilities on just what you get with your machine, as well as a couple accessories from Coleman & Company. So what you want to do is, again, you want to make sure that your design size is only 2.5 inches if you are sewing a design on a medium profile hat. Just give you a little bit of side information. Hats come in different profile sizes. You have the large fisherman caps, which are actually made of polyfoam. There you can actually sew a 3-inch design on those. Then you have the mid-profile hats, which is actually gives you about 2.5 to 2 3/4. It depends on the top of the embroidery here, but most people actually only go to an area of 2.5 inches. You got the mid to low profile here, which actually gives you 2.5 inches embroidery. You got your low profile, which is 2 inches, and of course you have your visors, which is whatever the width of the visor would be, minus 1/4 inch on either top and bottom. Okay, so do you see this thing? Okay, can anybody? We got a couple questions here about the pick. Okay, we'll talk about that. Randy, we'll talk about your question in just a second here. Kristen, can you see the video? I mean the screen. Got it. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, a little bit more about the hoop here. Okay, the hoop actually has a strap band which is designed to hold my hat in place, and you can see that there are teeth running all along here. Be careful; they're not sharp, but if you're pressing on it and you're running it, you can cut yourself on it. You also have tensioning bolts here, which allows you to move this in or out depending upon the width of your cap. If you're sewing out camo hats or any kind of cap you get from Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops, you'll see that they have a thicker material than your auto hats or most of your topper type hats. You can actually extend this out to sew those different tough style hats. And believe me, you'll want to, especially when you're trying to clip this thing shut around one of those caps. So it only requires a Phillips screwdriver and a little a combination wrench here to loosen up and just readjust this in. Okay. Most consumables on this cap frame are this band. Okay. Over years of use, you will see the metal start to stretch out, and it can actually break over time. You can buy replacement cap bands for these. Okay. Just call us at tech support line, and we can actually line you up with that. So what you want to do to actually hoop up a cap, let me just take care of some situation here. Okay, there we go. So what we want to do, we have two posts here, two side posts here, which is going to hold these clips, okay, that I showed you earlier, just to keep the sides of the cap straight. You want that facing you, and also you want to fit down towards the floor. You line this up on your cap driver, and you have these holding tabs. You have 2 on top, and you have 1 on the bottom, which you can't see, but you can hear it. Slide it in. It locks into place, and it's held in place. At this point here, you're going to want to use your piece of backing, and I don't really have backing. I'll just use this. Now, I use a tearaway backing, okay, and you want to use a tearaway backing. Coleman & Company sells one of the most structured tearaway backings that you can get, and you got to realize that you're never sewing to the hat. You're actually sewing to the stability of the hat or the stability of the stitches, which is the type of backing you're using. A lot of people will say, well, I don't like the backing material feeling on my left chest. Well, the material is actually made of a cotton. And as you wash the shirt, the cotton of the backing starts to soften to the texture and feel of the shirt. So don't get sidetracked by using a low weight backing when you're embroidering. The better the structure to hold your stitches, the longer your customer is going to be satisfied by the embroidery that you do. Using a less weighted backing means that your shirt will pucker easily as the stitches start to expand and contract during the washing cycle. So I use a 3.5 ounce on most of my T-shirts. For my hats, I use the structured tearaway, which will hold my stitches to the hat longer than my competitors. This will go underneath this centering guide. This is actually a little tab that kind of sticks up. There's a little space underneath it, and it allows me to center up my hat on this mark here. It's a little scored line in there. And I do like to round my backing. And by the way, this is not the backing I would use for the hat. I just don't have any in here. So I'm just going to put this on there. Now, of course, if you're doing side-to-side embroidery, you want this backing to go from this end all the way around to this end and a little bit hanging over, okay? This will allow me to have structure for my stitches that are going on the side. Okay, but if you're just doing the front of the logo, right there is fine. The next thing we need to prepare the hat. Most of your hats will have this structure to it because of the buckram, okay? One of the most common problems with embroidering is actually every time that needle enters that hat, it's flexing. The very tip of this needle is very soft and very thin, so it's going to flex. Whenever your hat is moving side to side to do a zigzag stitch, that needle's also moving side to side. Okay, having a hat that has a rounded shape to it, it's important that you break down the structure of this cap before hooping. It will diminish your needle breaks. It will diminish your flagging of your threads, which causes thread breaks. That's when the thread is dancing left and right as you sew. What I usually do is I put my fingers on the inside of the cap seam right here, because this is where the structure is being supported, and I put my thumb on each side of the front. And a lot of people will use a steamer to steam the back seam here, and it makes the hat release, okay? Relax a little bit for whenever it sews here. This stays flush with my needle plate of my machine. The more this material is up against this needle plate, the less flexing I have of my needle as it enters into the needle plate. So what you want to do, fingers on the inside, on each side of the seam, just like I have here, thumbs on the outside, and pull and just rotate. And what you're doing is you're just stretching that seam in the middle. It will go back to shape, I guarantee you, because it's double and quadruple stitched here. And when you do that, you take the fight out of that cap. Okay, you can see now it's much softer there. Okay, you see how it's not popping up like it was before. All right, that little flopping that was going on before will cause your needles to flex even more. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure I take the cardboard out. Your hats will have cardboard backing in here. Take that out and throw it away. I use it to clean my bobbins. And then what you want to do, you also don't want to sew the sweatband. The sweatband's there for a purpose to capture sweat. Okay, so you want to make sure I reach inside and I pull it out, because usually it's just like this. Reach inside, pull it out. And then what I'll do is I'll set it on the cap hoop. I'll move my hands down to the bottom to make sure that the back side of my cap, and you can see I have it unbuttoned here, is going on the outside of these posts here. It's very important. So again, sweatband out. I come down on it, and I do this so I'm holding my backing in place. Reach around, and I take my sweatband, and I put it right underneath that metal centering tab. Just like that. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Let me just get a little closer to the action here. You can see my sweatband is underneath that centering tab right here. Okay, so it's back out a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right hand, because I am right-handed, I'm going to support the cap here so it's not shifting on me. I'm going to reach down to my band, and I'm going to pull it around. And you can see the split in the band is going to sandwich the bill. Now, the most important thing about hooping a cap is that these teeth, these row of teeth that you see from one end to the other end, is biting into the seam between the bill and the panel of the cap. If you don't do that, then your material is going to move on you front to back when the machine sews a Y stitch, okay, front like this. If it's not biting in from end to end, your hat may move to side, okay? This teeth will sink correctly into that little seam right there and disallow that hat from moving. So what I'll do now is on this side, I'm going to kick the sweatband out. If you could just move that down a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So what I'm going to do is over here, I got a buckle on the latch, okay? The latch is going to go around a little clip here, and when I close the latch, it's going to provide the tension on that hat that I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my index finger between the latch and the buckle, okay? Just like this, okay? And on the side here, what I'm going to do with my hand is I'm going to kick the sweatband out, and I'm going to fold the material over, and I'll show you this after I get this clipped on there so you can see. And I'm going to set my latch, just like that, okay? Now, I didn't clip it shut yet. What I need to do is make sure my seam of my bill is centered on that metal plate. So I lift it up, move it, and you can see my material kind of came away from the band here. So what I'll do is I'll put my thumb under here and just move it back. When I do that, I close it shut. The last part is actually structuring the side, especially if I'm planning on embroidering over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my thumb on the inside of the material, and I'm going to pull straight down, just like that, and I'll put 2 clips on. Now, if you're only sewing the front of the hat, you only need 1 clip, okay, because you're not moving over here. But if you're going to sew on the left or right side, you definitely want to use 2 clips to keep that nice and straight. So I'll do the other side the same way. Pull the material straight down, but don't stress it. And there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release my tabs and pull the cap off. And there we go. So now you see the teeth are biting right on the seam all the way from one end to the other, which is important. You can see over here how I folded the material over top of the sweatband and then clamped it to there. That's going to provide me a little bit more structure on the side here. And I know it looks kind of wrinkled here on the side here, but when this goes over the needle plate, my hand being the needle plate, you can see how it straightens right out for me, as long as I did not pull too tightly when putting these clips on. Okay? So the most important thing about that whole video, it's going to save you a lot of aggravation, is actually breaking down the structure of that cap before hooping it. Nothing's more frustrating than having needle break after needle break. Okay? All right, any questions on hooping a hat or anything that you've seen here at all? All right, let's see what we got. Okay, we got a question from Randy Bachman. He's left the meeting since we started. I think I answered his question during the demonstration. But the question was, what technique would you use if there is a front logo and a side text, but the side was to be right down on the band? The correct answer for that would be, and I have to turn on the webcam again. Hold on one second. And we have a blank hat here, don't we? Yes, right here. Okay. Okay. Whenever you have a hat, okay, your embroidery is going to be centered right here. Wherever the bottom of the embroidery is, that's where you want to line it up on the side. Okay, you don't want to be below. Okay, because it does make your overall look of the hat a little bit askew. Okay, in other words, I don't want my embroidery. If my embroidery is up here, okay, and I'm about maybe about 3/4 of an inch up, I don't want to be lower than that over here, unless the customer really wants it that way. Then it's easy to do. The lowest you can go on the embroidery is right down where the seam actually, the sweatband folds underneath. Okay, right here. And if you hooped your cap correctly in your cap hoop, that'll be no problem lining it up there. All you'll have to do is line it up in your artwork. You have to measure down where the bottom of this embroidery stops, and measure it over here and find out how far you got to come down, and then that's where you place using guidelines in your embroidery design to actually center up that lettering over there. Okay, so I think that's the correct answer for him. Are there any other questions at all on anything that you were shown? Okay, there's a lot of other hoop techniques out there. There's a bunch of them out there that Coleman & Company will actually be carrying soon. The all-in-one, definitely get that. It's definitely going to save your day. It's going to save your how your company looks when you're embroidering multiple shirts for companies that require the logo to be in the same place, whether it's a small, medium, large, extra large, all the way up to 4, 5, or 6X. And with the advantages of you be able to do the same thing for hoops for toddlers and for youth, definitely is a great advantage to have in your shop. And the new thing with the Durkee cap frame, where you can go up even higher than 2.5 inches on non-structured caps, definitely a great advantage. It definitely puts you higher in competitiveness over your competition. Well, we enjoyed doing this Tech Talk. Again, this Tech Talk is for you. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. If you have any technical information that you need, please call us at 877-793-3278. Extension 1010. Darla will point you in the right direction. On behalf of myself, I thank you for coming. I wish you happy holidays. And Brandon.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend.